Everybody for being here. We've got a pretty good crowd. That's awesome. We'd like to have even more, but we'll take what we got, right? We have a team of folks with us today to present kind of a special thing going on. They are going to tell us about one of the most publicized secrets in our world today, Toastmasters. To lead us in our presentation this morning is a 24-year Toastmaster, Kyle Hall. So please help me welcome Kyle Hall.
I have to ask, because a couple of you have mentioned Toastmasters when I was introducing myself. How many of you know what Toastmasters is? Raise your hand. Okay, a bunch of hands go. How many of you have been a Toastmaster in the past?
Wow.
Okay, a couple, a few. 24 years ago, I had a job giving technical presentations, representing the company I worked for. And I've been doing it for a couple of years when I had a difficult realization. I was a mediocre speaker. I had been out presenting to people, and I could make my point. I could usually keep the audience awake. When I saw people around me, hey, he can make people laugh, and I tried it, that was horrible. And that guy can really get some people up and motivated to go do something. I couldn't do that to save my life. And I came to this really difficult realization. I was really kind of bad at this part of my job. Fortunately for me, about the same time, I was sent off to a conference, and I saw 3 top-notch presenters. 3 of them. One guy talked about a highly technical topic for 2 hours. This would normally be a coma-inducing presentation. He was funny. It was lighthearted, entertaining. I was fascinated. I learned more in that 2 hours on that topic than in any other presentation or class I'd ever taken, because I was entertained. And then I saw a guy, he spoke to the group for 5 minutes. And he was so sincere and so authentic that at the end of 5 minutes, I wanted to be his friend. He had me in the palm of his hand. And I said, I have to learn how to do this. I have to learn how to do this. If I learn how to do this, it will serve me in every aspect of my life. And I went and I asked people, how do you learn how to do this? And they said, Toastmasters. I'd never heard of Toastmasters. Well, I asked around, it turns out there was one that happened to meet in the building where I worked. And I went and joined it, and I never turned back. Never looked back. I've been a Toastmaster for 24 years, and I have learned more about communicating, speaking, and leadership than I ever thought I would learn, ever thought I would want to learn. And we're here today to try to, for those of you who have never been a Toastmaster, but have only heard about it, we're here today to kind of introduce what we do. And one gentleman says, so you guys make toast, right? No. The Toastmasters name is an acronym from 90 years ago when toasting somebody at a meeting was a much more prominent part of that meeting. But what we're about is communication leadership skills. And Toastmasters is the world's largest nonprofit teaching communication leadership skills. We have 350,000 members in 15,000 clubs in 114 countries, approximately. It's changing all the time. But one of the neat things about Toastmasters, if you go to McDonald's club, if you go to McDonald's restaurant anywhere in the world, you're going to find pretty much the same thing. Well, Toastmasters is kind of the same thing too. If you go to a Toastmasters club anywhere in the world, you're going to find 3 things. And we're going to show you those 3 things today. The first thing you're going to find are people who are working planned presentations. They're working from a manual. They're planning their speech, and they're planning a presentation. They're standing up and giving you a presentation or giving you a speech based on the manual. It's one of the ways we learn. So we're going to start with that today. Our first presenter has been a member. I need my glasses. Even with large print, I still need my glasses. Our first presenter today has been a member of Toastmasters for 8 years. And our speaker today attributes Toastmasters and the skills she's learned with giving her the wings to soar toward her passion. As a child abuse and foster care awareness advocate, she uses Toastmasters skills to speak the words into others' lives that give them flight. Please help me welcome Rebecca Reese with The Theory of Flight.
Just really quick before my climb starts, I want to say, as a Toastmaster, we never turn our back and speak. But I'm going to have my back to you. Okay. When is the last time that you spoke words of flight into someone else's life? What does it mean to speak words of flight into someone else's life? Can you remember a time when someone spoke something into your life that just made you feel transformed, made you feel like you could fly? It might have been something as simple as a compliment. Like Carrie here complimented Dave, "I like your tag." I once gave this compliment, "I like your pants." Now before you think that's weird, we have now been dating for a year. Nope. Compliment people's pants. Did you ever want a superpower? Anybody in here ever want a superpower? Give me a couple.
Fly.
Fly. Give me another one.
Mind reading.
Mind reading.
Healing.
Healing.
How about golfing?
When I was a little girl, it's like Mary, when I was a little girl, I wanted to fly. Only flying for me was about escaping a horrifically abusive childhood. Now, the theory of flight, or my personal theory of flight, began to form when I was 7, and it happened on the swing set at the local park near my house. It was the first time I ever experienced that feeling of weightlessness. When the swing had stopped moving forward, but hasn't yet begun to fall back, in that nanosecond of time, you're weightless. And suddenly, in that moment, my theory of flight was born. If I wished hard enough and in just the right way, in that period of time, I could fly. I fully believed that, and I tried many times. One particular time, coming up on one of the last times I tried, I woke up under the swing set with my brother looking down. "What are you doing?" So I told him. "That's dumb. You're dumb." Now, that was really the sum of our conversations about any topic. But he didn't believe that I could fly, and it didn't matter, because I believed that I could. I never told anybody about my theory of flight until later. It was my first creative writing class in college. The last week of class, I turned in this beautiful vignette. Okay, I thought it was a beautiful vignette. And because it was a creative writing class, in the vignette titled Theory of Flight, I did fly as a little girl. And I collected my paper back from the professor, and I flipped to the back because I knew that's where I would find the green writing. He always wrote in green because he thought it was the most encouraging color to write notes in, whether they were good or bad. Frank Andrea, my professor in that class, had written, "Rebecca, if you're afraid of heights, don't look down. You are already flying. Flight does not have to be literal to be possible." Professor Godfrey. Those few words on their own don't really have that much meaning, but when strung together in the way that he did, those words gave me flight and lifted me beyond what I believed and reignited that hope that I had when I was a little girl that I could fly. As life does, it happened. life happened and time passed and I didn't hear those flight-giving words spoken into my life again until I was 32. They went like this. You need to get a life. Followed quickly by, you should join Toastmasters. Now, anybody who knows me knows that my favorite phrases are directed toward me and they start with, you should. No. But Bob Ingram, my Toastmasters mentor now, spoke those words to me when I was 32. And he was right. See, he saw in me, as my son was getting ready to go to kindergarten, he saw the potential for loss of self. Because I was so wrapped up in momming, that's a new verb, write it down, made it up. I was so involved in being a stay-at-home mom to my young son that I didn't really have an identity of my own anymore. That's why his words meant something. But what he didn't know and what he didn't see and what he never heard were the words that were coming at me at home. You're stupid. You're fat. You're worthless. Nothing you will ever say will mean anything to anybody. I walked into a Toastmasters meeting and I spoke. And people listened. I learned very quickly through Toastmasters that I had something to say. I had something to give, and I had the power to see that potential in others. In Toastmasters, we have a really unique way, using mentorship and the clubs of people that we gather together. We have a unique way of being able to speak into the lives of others and to speak those words of flight into others' lives. And in that way, together, by finding out each other's goals, each other's desires, whether it's career or dreams of flight, together we can work together toward flying. Now, these three things are true. Flight begins with hope. To really live, truly live, you gotta get a life. And three, flight does not have to be literal to be possible. Your feet never have to leave the ground. You just have to believe they can. Consider checking out the Toastmasters meeting, a full meeting at a club, and discover, like I did, the passion within you for whatever it is you want to do, whether it's leadership or speaking or just working with other people. Toastmasters has been invaluable in helping me to pursue my passion of foster awareness advocacy and child abuse awareness advocacy. That's what Toastmasters did for me, has done for me, is doing for me, and can also do for you. Flight does not have to be literal to be possible. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Rebecca. So what Rebecca was demonstrating for you there was a planned speech based on a manual that she's working on. And that's the first part of every Toastmasters meeting. Now there's another part of every Toastmasters meeting. Some of you may have heard of it. We call it table topics. It's impromptu speaking. And this is so powerful. We ask people to stand up and address a topic on which they, a question they've just been asked with no preparation. I'll tell you, when I have gone out, I'm one of the few people I know who can go out on a job interview and have fun. I can sit back and relax and get to know the people who are interviewing me because I have a lot of confidence that I can answer their questions because I've done table topics for a long time. To lead us in table topics, I'm getting used to needing reading glasses. To lead us in table topics is Sherry Kenyon, who joined Toastmasters because she was in outside sales. She felt she needed to perfect her sales presentation as well as learn to listen to her customers so she could give them the benefits they needed. Toastmasters helped her be the salesperson of the year in 2007 at the News Tribune. Please help me welcome Sherry Kenyon.
first time I was in Toastmasters, I was sitting next to a manager from the News Tribune. And he had table topics starting, he was sitting beside me, table topics started in the whole program there, and he said to me, I hate this. Afterwards, I asked him, why? And he said that he had to, every Monday, sit in a meeting where they passed a microphone around. All he had to do was say his name and his department, and it scared him to death. So everyone, no matter what your position is, can learn from table topics and from impromptu speaking. Like Kyle said, I've been on job interviews and had, in fact, panel job interviews that I had more fun than the panel did because it was very easy to answer those questions and feel comfortable doing it. Now today, many of you know that I asked you to give me a question. And so I have questions actually from the audience. Oh, here's another one.
Watch out for that one.
This is a long one. Now I'd like to have someone raise their hand and say, I'd like to try this. What you need to do is answer this question. If you don't know the answer, you can make it up. Just ad lib.
I'll try to make a minute.
And 1 minute. Our timer in the back, hold up your card, your green card.
1 minute.
1 minute. You'll see that green card come up high. Try to make that minute. If you go
1 minute
over,
30.
minute 30, yellow. 2 minutes, red, cut it off. So do we have anyone who would like to try? Please. There are some tough questions in here, but there's some fairly easy ones too. So I'm going to give you a minute. This is Mary. I think you all know her. Mary. Mary, what is the most exciting moment in your life that you can remember? Tell us about it.
Well, if exciting means your adrenaline is so high it's going to make you sick, then it could be the time that I joined a whole group of my fellow youth group members when I was in high school on a climb up Goat Rock, which is on the Sonoma coast. And now you are not allowed to do that. There's, signs, there's an undertow, it's dangerous, don't go there. But we were teenagers and we probably would have ignored the signs anyway. So we climbed, a whole bunch of us climbed to the top of this rock, and it probably was only about 150 feet tall, but about 2/3 of the way up, I got stuck. And that's when I realized I was afraid of heights. And I froze, and I had a hand here, and a hand here, and a foot here, and I couldn't go anywhere. I was just stuck. Well, if that's exciting because of the adrenaline and the fear, then that may have been it. And what a relief it was when someone came down, managed to find a way to get underneath me and put his hands under my feet and literally walked me up the mountain. And then I was just very grateful. But the view was amazing. Thank you.
Obviously, we learned from Mary that with a little help you can do anything. We have another person who would like to do it. If you don't raise your hand, I may call one. Oh, I got one over here. You want an easy one or a hard one?
Oh, it don't matter. I can pretend pretty good.
Oh, yeah, pretty good. Okay, Rick,
Yes.
tell us what the real truth is.
The real truth. Yeah. The truth is, I'm 64 years old. I've got 2 beautiful daughters. I got 4 grandchildren, and I got a wonderful wife. Life's been treating me very fine. I got a large family that I come from, a lot of siblings, my mom and dad, grew up in Colorado. And so truth. That's true. This is a kind of trick here. The truth is that we're here today enjoying one another, having lunch together and talking a little bit about Toastmasters. And so the truth is that we probably need to pay attention to what's going on so we can learn, right? Truth is, too, is courage, bike ride. That's a true thing that's going to happen. We need to have some volunteers to step forward to help us out. We also need to have some people to put some money together to help our bike riders to succeed. So that's the truth.
Did you see how he really ad-libbed and extended that, and he got to do the green flag in 1 minute? Very good. Do we have another? All right, come on. You want a tough one or an easy one? Just don't give me mine. Tell us about the mission of this club, the Parkwoods Family Group.
Oh, wow. Well, the mission of this club is to I can't think of the words. Service above the self, provide better lives for other people. The 4-way test we do to see if things are true, to see if things work, to see if things make sense, to see if it's right for all. I know I kind of not that off the top of my head, huh? And I would say the mission of this club is to just provide better lives for other people, help out when we can, be good people to each other, and yeah, I think that's a good mission.
Thank you. Another volunteer? How about from this team? You don't care. Oh, he's ready. Well, actually, okay. Let me see. Where does chocolate milk come from?
From Dakota.
North Dakota.
Chocolate milk is a special milk that only can come from cows that live in very cold areas that are mostly pastured on tundra, which is what you find in North Dakota. The cows, it's important that the cows that make chocolate milk are not socialized very well. There's not a lot of people in North Dakota, so it's the perfect place because the cows don't get a lot of interaction with others. There is quite a bit of waterfowl in North Dakota, so visitors often will come to shoot the waterfowl, and the fear that those cows experience as these strangers are in their pastures shooting birds mixes the milk within their milk glands into chocolate. And thus all of the workers from Michigan that had a tough time during the recession, they have been migrating over to North Dakota to be able to milk these cows and to get the chocolate milk into the system. Thank you.
Have you been in Toastmasters before? Yes. Yes. You see, you learn in Toastmasters that you can make up any story to answer a question, and it still works. Got time for one more?
Yeah.
One more, okay. Who would like to do it?
I think Kevin.
Who's Kevin?
Kevin.
Oh, yeah, you're pointing there and I'm looking. Okay, Kevin, I'm going to ask you a fairly easy question. What's your favorite color, and what does that say about who you are?
Well, that's hard to say. Favorite color, I don't think I could choose just one, because there's so many different ones to choose from. Probably a blend of green and blue. Just depends on whether it's a bright day or a cloudy day, and how I'm feeling. Whether I'm feeling down, feeling up. But then I could throw in red to kind of brighten up the parts of my eyeballs, make it a little more alert. But I think I'm back to blue. My wife says that blue is my favorite color. She doesn't know why. She just says, if I go buy clothes, there's usually some blue in it. So I try not to buy the clothes, I let them buy it for me. Green though, green's the color of money. So that's a good color. But that's all green. But actually, money doesn't drive me. So you have to have it. It's just a tool. But I'm back to all of that the blue sky. I love it when the sun's out, or even when the blue sky is out, more importantly. Or those cloudy days when you get the little breaks of blue, and you think, all right, there's hope for another day and another day in God's kingdom. So, all right, let's do it.
Thank you. You can see it's a lot of fun to do table topics. And I want to just thank all of you who gave me questions, and those of you who got the courage to get up here and do it. So my name's Sherry Kenyon. I represent Thursday Night Live, which is a Toastmasters club that meets in Parkland, right across from PLU at Trinity Lutheran Church. You have that on your piece of paper there for the names. Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you, Sherry. So we've seen two parts of every Toastmasters meeting: planned presentations and impromptu speaking. And now the third part of every Toastmasters meeting, and to my mind, one of the hearts of Toastmasters, is the evaluation. Everyone who stands up and gives a planned presentation gets immediate feedback. To lead us in that is Joanna Trevera. Joanna joined Toastmasters in 2011 as a charter member of Mustang Mumblers. Initially, Joanna joined to enhance her interpersonal skills and use her organizational and planning skills to establish a new Toastmasters club. Joanna's goal is to serve as a mentor for new Toastmasters and coach new and existing Toastmaster members while continuing to gain confidence in the use of humor and storytelling in presentations. Please help me welcome our evaluator, Joanna Trevera.
Because I'm short enough. Thank you for having us here today to present our portion of Toastmasters and the variances of what we do, and we hope to do well. For Rebecca, her evaluation is on the theory of flight. One of the challenges is always a mic, the use of a mic, having it too close, too far away, understanding where that is. Sometimes practice initially when you come in, practice with the mic prior to getting up. That would be an recommendation for improvement for you, and just test that out first. I know you're a polished speaker, and that's just one of the things that we expect our polished speakers to hear well. All right. Now, Rebecca opened up with questions. She had several questions. When is, what does, and can you? Those are open-ended questions to make you as the audience think, and also to get you prepared for what she's going to say next. The superhero power. Rebecca has an infectious personality, and you could see that when she talked about superheroes. She got a particular response, and she paused and allowed that humor to really resonate with all of us. so that we could really enjoy that. And then she moved on to how she started this theory of flight, how to speak words of flight into others. There was a slight bobble when you introduced that. You started off a sentence, you ended that, and then you went back into, you were 7 years old on the swing. And that was powerful. That transition is another area that could possibly be feathered out a little bit more, maybe fleshed out a little bit more to help you really deliver that in a powerful way, because that is our journey with you. That's what starts our journey with you. Then she moved on to her professor and how her professor told her she was already flying. Question for you, who knows the paper that Rebecca was working on? I took English several years and didn't even understand what that was. That is always a takeaway. Sometimes you want to use a phrase that is going to get your audience to think and move on and maybe take that away, write that down, and research. It's always an excellent opportunity to educate your audience. And then you moved in to Toastmasters. Why we're here today, the purpose and how Toastmasters has helped you to learn to fly. But you also brought us into that and you gave us a call to action. Things that you did extremely well that resonated with me was the powerful use of threes. You had threes, the rule of three throughout each and every portion of your presentation today. Now, with the transitions, just making that your 7-year-old, making that the most powerful portion of your transition, the use of the mic, which we all are challenged with, those things are going to push your presentation to the next level, and then we will speak words of flight to each other. Thank you.
So we demonstrated for you the 3 parts of every Toastmasters meeting: planned presentations, impromptu speaking, and evaluations. Now, I would like to open the floor to you for a few minutes of Q&A. Do any of you have any questions about Toastmasters that I and my fellow Toastmasters can answer for you? 1 second.
What are the dues? How often are they paid? What's the minimum meeting commitment?
Good question. So, if you are a person who's never joined Toastmasters before and you walked into a club, they would tell you that Toastmasters International charges a one-time only new member fee of $20 and then $45 every 6 months. And we collect them in September and March. So $90 a year for some of the best communication leadership training you can get. In terms of what is the meeting commitment, most clubs, I don't know of any Toastmaster club that takes attendance. I know there are service clubs. I was a member of Lions Club for a while, and they take attendance. And some people care about that, and some people don't. Toastmasters, I haven't seen a Toastmasters club yet that takes attendance. On the other hand, you only learn by showing up and doing it. Kevin.
So what's the typical length of a meeting time?
Most Toastmaster clubs are either 1 hour or 1.5 hours long. Lunchtime meetings are typically an hour long. I've seen some, I used to belong to my very first club met at 6:30 a.m. in the morning. You have to be a special kind of nuts to join a club that meets at 6:30 a.m. in the morning. But we met for an hour and a half on a Thursday morning, and it turns out Thursday was always my most productive day, because I started at Toastmasters. And there are also evening clubs. So there are clubs morning, noon, evening, any day of the week. A few of them are weekends. You can generally find something that's convenient to you. If you are looking for a club, in front of you is a list of 9 clubs that are really close. And then there's also the URL, so you can go to our website and look and do the Find a Club, in case you don't live in this area. So there are lots of clubs around. Other questions?
Do you come to businesses, or can businesses have a Toastmaster come in and do certifications or pay certifications to train their staff?
So District 32, which is what we're in right now, District 32 is Federal Way down through Olympia, all the Olympic Peninsula, and Alaska. District 32 doesn't have a speakers bureau right now. If we had a speakers bureau, my answer would be definitely yes. Now, so my answer is going to be a possibly yes. If you came to us and you said, we'd like somebody to come in and talk about leadership skills or communication skills, I'm willing to bet we could find somebody who'd be willing to do it. What we don't have is a website where you can go and select from the 28 people who would volunteer to do that. But if you have a business and you want some, a half an hour talk, a 2-hour talk, one day workshop might be a bit much. You know, you're not going to get somebody probably for free to do that. But if you want a half an hour, maybe 2-hour presentation on communication, depending on what you're looking for, you might be able to find somebody who could do it. Other questions? Michael?
I found that the competent communicator designation was very helpful. It's something that I achieved in Toastmasters, which folks might not know about. Could you talk about that?
Sure. When you join Toastmasters, I mentioned that Rebecca was working from a manual. Well, we have 2 manuals you get when you first join, and everybody works through those first 2 manuals. They are the competent communicator manual and the competent leader manual. And then we have something like 15 or 18 advanced manuals that focus on particular subjects. So the competent communicator manual takes you through 10 exercises which teach you the fundamentals of public speaking. How to organize a speech, how to talk from the heart, how to speak with sincerity, how to use vocal variety, how to use gestures and props and visuals and things like that, and ultimately leading up to how to inspire an audience. So all of that's just in the first manual. And then we have advanced manuals focusing on things like sales skills, technical skills, speaking to management, storytelling. Lots of different manuals. So depending upon what you're interested in, we probably have something to help you grow in that direction.
Are those manuals on audio or YouTube or?
Very good question. I didn't catch your name?
Kathy.
Kathy, very good question, Kathy. So are the manuals video or auditory? Right now, I know they're printed. I know we have them in, like 24 languages. I do not know if we have auditory copies of them. That's something I'd actually have to check on. No one's asked me that before. Toastmasters is getting ready, or in the midst of transitioning to we have our educational program. We are updating our educational program, and we are bringing more and more of it online. So some of the manuals are going to include online videos and online tutorials to get you ready for the exercise. So that's in the process. Other questions? Rick?
Do a lot of schools use your program?
A lot of schools use our program. So we have Toastmaster clubs at universities. Toastmasters offers something called youth leadership, which is kind of like a 6 or 8 week class that we can offer to junior high school and high school kids. So if you had, for instance, a high school in your area that wanted to do some public speaking but didn't have a public speaking teacher, you might be able to engage a local Toastmasters club to present a youth leadership at your high school. Occasionally, we also do things like start what we call gavel clubs, which is basically a Toastmaster club for kids. We have had some of those in the past. I don't think we have one down here in Tacoma right now. There was one operating up in Seattle for several years that was quite big and successful. So I have a couple of questions for you. You've got to see a little bit about what a Toastmasters meeting is like. Can you see how Toastmasters could be useful to you or the people in the businesses in which you work in helping them with their business skills? Can you see how Toastmasters could possibly be useful to you or the people in your lives in dealing with things outside of work? Like speaking at your church, speaking at your city council, speaking up at a board meeting. So my question for you is, are you going to go home and consider going to a Toastmasters club and possibly encourage the people in your lives to go check out a Toastmasters club? And to help you in that, we've provided you with a couple pieces of literature. We hope you'll take it home, and a list of the local clubs in your area. You're welcome.
Yeah, that was a great presentation. Thank you so much for sharing Toastmasters. I've heard a lot about it, but it's nice to be able to kind of experience a little bit of what it is. So thank you for bringing that to the club. And Rick, thank you for lining that up.